In his book, The Encyclopedia of Biblical Errancy, skeptic Dennis McKenzie confidently asserts that the contradictory genealogies found in Matthew 1 and Luke 3 open up a Pandora's box that apologists would just as soon remain closed forever. One contradiction he cited revolves around the father of Joseph. Whereas Matthew 1:16 states that Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ, Luke 3:23 says, Jesus himself began his ministry at about 30 years of age, being, as was supposed, the son of Joseph, the son of Heli. How is it that Joseph could be the son of both Jacob and Heli? Is this a contradiction that Christian apologists prefer to keep under lock and key, as McKenzie suggests? Not at all. Admittedly, on the surface, the two statements may appear contradictory. However, there actually is a very simple explanation for the differences in the two verses. Matthew gives the genealogy of Jesus through Joseph, while Luke presents the genealogy of Jesus through his mother Mary. Thus, Jacob is Joseph's father in Matthew 1:16, while Heli is Mary's in Luke 3:23. But how can this be? Luke doesn't say that Mary is the offspring of Heli, but rather Joseph is the son of Heli. What logical, biblically sound explanation leads to the rational conclusion that Luke 3 is the genealogy of Jesus through his mother, Mary? Consider 7 brief points. First, the two genealogies are totally different from the time of David to Jesus. It's not merely that two different grandfathers of Jesus are listed. All the names given for the preceding 1,000 years before Christ are different, except in the case of Zerubbabel and Shealtiel, where there likely was an intermarriage among the two families, or else they were different people who wore the same names. Joseph descended from David's son Solomon, while Mary descended from David's son Nathan. Second, Matthew and Luke were writing to two different audiences. Matthew to the Jews and Luke to the Greeks. From the beginning of Matthew's gospel account, he focused on Jesus' connection to Abraham and David, from whom the Old Testament repeatedly prophesied the Messiah would come. Luke, on the other hand, writing to a broader audience, took the genealogy of Jesus all the way back to Adam, the father of all mankind, and to God, the creator of all mankind. Third, though writing to a wider audience, Luke follows the Jewish tradition of only mentioning males in the line of descent. Commentator David Roper noted, women might be mentioned incidentally, but the lines of descent were through men. As a rule, Jews did not include women in genealogies. What's more, as Adam Clark noted, whenever a family happened to end with a daughter, instead of naming her in the genealogy, they inserted her husband as the son of him who was in reality but his father-in-law. Thus, Luke gives a fleshly genealogy of the virgin-born Jesus through his mother Mary, though designated by her husband's name. Fourth, the terms son and daughter are used in Scripture in a wide variety of ways. Son may mean, among other things, son by actual birth, grandson, descendant, stepson, as well as son-in-law. Likewise, in addition to the ordinary usage of the word, Bible writers use the term daughter to designate daughter-in-law, female descendant, the women of a particular place taken collectively, and sometimes just women in general. In short, in different senses, Joseph, Mary, and Jesus were all of Heli. Fifth, Matthew tells of the coming and arrival of Jesus from Joseph's perspective, while Luke writes from Mary's point of view. Give serious attention to the narratives of Matthew and Luke and consider how different their overall frame of references are. Compare and contrast Matthew chapter 1, verse 18 through chapter 2 and verse 1 with especially Luke chapter 1, verses 26 through 56. Given the gospel writers' stark differences in perspectives of the accounts of the coming and arrival of Jesus, with Matthew's clear focus on Joseph and Luke's heavy attention on Mary, it was perfectly natural for Matthew to give the genealogy of Jesus through Joseph and Luke through Mary. Sixth, the Greek article to, or the, is absent before Joseph's name in Luke's genealogy of Christ, yet, as Frederick Godet correctly highlighted in his commentary on Luke, the word occurs before every one of the other names in the genealogy. Godet also noted, in the genealogy of Matthew, the article is put in the same way before each proper name, which clearly proves that it was the ordinary form in vogue in this kind of document. Thus, this want of the article in Luke's genealogy puts the name of Joseph outside the genealogical series properly so called and assigns to it a peculiar position. Perhaps such peculiarity is a heavy hint of this genealogy being through Jesus' maternal grandfather, Heli, and not Joseph. Finally, if Luke were presenting Joseph's genealogy, respected commentator R.C.H. Lenski logically argued it would, according to his own statement, be the genealogy only of the supposed father of Jesus, and of what value would such a genealogy be? No man could find a reference to the legal relation of Joseph to Jesus in the Greek hos enamidzeto, as was supposed. Furthermore, the phrase being as supposed the son of Joseph should probably be thought of as parenthetical, with the words son of Heli referring to Jesus, not Joseph. Thus, as A.T. Robertson concluded, Jesus would be Heli's grandson, an allowable meaning of son. In fact, as Lenski noted, not only should the parentheses in our versions be extended to include the name Joseph, as was supposed of Joseph, to shorten it as it is done in our versions makes the entire list up to of God dependent on as was supposed, for there is no way to restrict this clause except by including of Joseph in it as part of the parentheses. The New Testament Greek manuscripts lack parentheses in Luke 3:23, just as they lack parentheses and all other sorts of punctuation throughout, which English Bible translators have added in attempts at greater clarity. Though as was supposed is undoubtedly a parenthetical expression, it makes better sense, much better sense, if such includes Joseph, as was supposed of Joseph. Had this fuller expression been made parenthetical long ago, fewer individuals might have had difficulty seeing Mary's ancestry in Luke's genealogy of Christ. In truth, far from being some kind of genealogical joke, it's perfectly logical to understand that Luke did not trace Jesus' legal lineage from Joseph back to David and Abraham, as did Matthew. Rather, he traced the physical bloodline of Jesus' virgin mother Mary, not his stepfather Joseph, back to David, Abraham, and Adam. Such a logically possible explanation exonerates Luke and Matthew of any error in their penning of Jesus' genealogies.